and welcome to a special Attack of the 50-Foot Nerds video. I'm Paul. Yeah. Mike seems to be, well, behind the camera, actually. So that may be a little bit unusual. Today, we're in a place that regular listeners will know I've been talking about for, it's about 6 months now, I think. I've been coming to this strange Aladdin's cave of wonder that is Snips Rentals, Snips Movies. And I'd like to introduce you to, well, maybe Dave would like to introduce himself.
No, that's good enough to be honest.
This is Dave Wain, proprietor of this here establishment, this very boutique. Dave, it is an amazing place that you've got here, but it is. Don't do yourself down. But I mean, for those that are new coming in from our channel, what's the origin story of Snips Movies?
The origin story is that we used to really be into women's clothing.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, my dad was heavily into women's clothing. We had 3 stores that did women's clothing.
Right.
Then we went down to one, which is this one. This opened in 1976. Then in 1995, there was the rise of the supermarkets. They evolved, didn't they? They went on to hypermarkets, double stories, that kind of thing.
Georgia, Asda, and that sort of thing.
Exactly. And you started to get the out-of-town shopping centres. So, the clothing boutique that you used to have in years gone by, that couldn't continue, really. So, we had to think on our feet of what we could do to mix it up. So we thought, well, I don't know what to do. So I happened to coincide with the guy in the adjacent store, the store next door. He was a video butcher. He did videos on one side and he did butchery on the other.
Oh, okay. Video butcher, but otherwise sounded a bit weird.
Yeah, it was quite an intriguing me because you used to rent a film back in, say, 1991. You'd open the VHS cassette and stick your nose inside and it would smell of sausage. It was gorgeous, honestly. Indeed. So in 1995, the guy next door retired. We bought his stock of 200 to 300 VHS, refitted this store, and then in 1995, on August the 8th, we reopened as Snips Movies. And yeah, the rest is history. So we just kind of built for the last 30 years, and here we are at 19,200 movies on Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K UHD.
Yeah, and VHS.
And VHS. But 302 VHS.
302. So
approximately.
I mean, why are you stocking basically what is considered a dead media?
Well, it's a problem, isn't it, Paul? I mean, you know yourself. We're an archive, and the problem is that back in the day, back in the 90s, back in the massive VHS era, they were making films for video stores. That was the thing. They were making films for people like us because they knew they were going to sell thousands and thousands of units direct to video. And so they just made thousands of films. But when DVD came around, 98, 99, we thought, well, everything is going to end up on DVD. Everything will end up on DVD. And of course, as you both well know, it's not the case. So what we've got now is we have hundreds and thousands of films on video that will never, ever make the leap, not only to DVD and Blu-ray, but to streaming as well. Like Wired is one, for example, the biopic of John Belushi. It's been suppressed by people like Dan Aykroyd and folk like that because they're really unhappy with it. So no studio will ever put this out on any of the formats. So how do you watch it? I mean, I hate video. I hate it with a passion. It's a disintegrating format that gets mold on the spools and stuff like that. And it doesn't look great on a 55, 60, 65, 70-inch TV or a projector, does it? But needs must. If you want to watch a certain film, we don't have much choice. So,
and I think the important word you've used there is this isn't just a rental store. It's an archive.
Yeah.
It's about bringing as much as possible into one place, so that, you know, because even when we're, you know, rooting around on our streaming services, you know, beholden to whatever algorithm is basically saying, let me show you this, that, and the other, we're not going to find all of what we're looking for in one place.
Well, it's a resource, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to think to yourself, Netflix has 3,000 films, and you've got 19,000 here. So the 16 difference there, that's a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And you've got to think of other people. You've got to think, well, that's predominantly all I think about is other people, like kids. Say you're a 17, 18-year-old cinephile who is just becoming madly obsessive about films. What do? You're a student, or you're on minimum wage. Yeah. You can't afford to subscribe to 7 or 8 different streaming services just to get a flavor of the movies that are out there. How about older movies? How about stuff like Chaplin? Where do you stream a Chaplin movie? Where do you stream a Laurel and Hardy movie? So by having an archive of historical films as well as contemporary films, then it spans that whole, you know, century of cinema. Yeah. And so you can get kids coming in who are doing media studies courses and stuff like that, and they can get a flavor of stuff that they might not ordinarily be, you know, exposed to.
Worth just asking you that. So, what is the price point that you've set for access to this amazing archive?
Well, I mean, you know, say this, for Spawn, for example, is out tomorrow on Blu-ray and 4K HD from Arrow Video. The price in 1995, on the 8th of August, on the day we opened, was £2.50. The price today, in 2025, is £2.50. Because why should that change? You know, Netflix never raise their prices, do they? But that's it. Like, you know, the cost to me is pretty much equal to what it was in 1995. You know, the cost of that, I think, was £17.99. I was paying in 1995 £40+ for one VHS tape plus that. So to me, the price has actually decreased. So why would my cost increase? It doesn't make any sense. So to keep the cost the same, £2.50, 3 and £5. 3 for £5. Plus, you've removed the barriers that used to exist in years gone by, because that was an issue. That was one of the reasons why people decided, no, we don't need video stores. We're going to move to streaming because we don't like the rules. You know the rules. You have to join. You have to join with 17 forms of ID and a DNA test, you know, and a paternity test.
So what used to make a blockbuster, mate. I know the rules.
Exactly. Well, so did Dave.
So did I for 5 years. Terrible experience. Well, it wasn't that bad. I like to paint it as a terrible experience, but it wasn't. Yeah, so no membership. Why? What, you know, what's it going to do? Who's going to nick a copy of, you know, Puppet Master? Well, okay, maybe me. But you know, it's a different world. The people who come here now are people passionate about cinema, so they're respectful of the product, so they care about the product.
Yeah.
So there's no membership, there's no late fees, because that was just a barbaric thing that shouldn't have existed. You know, even people like Jeff Bezos and Amazon, they're giving you 48 hours to watch a film, and then it's gone. But why? You're not having a physical copy of it. You're not taking something home. It's literally a digital file. It makes no difference if you have it 48, 72, 96 hours. It makes a difference. So why have that arbitrary 48-hour timeline? It's ridiculous. All it is in the hope that you only watch half. Forget about it, then go back and try and watch the other half, then end up paying again. So yeah, there's no membership, there's no late fees, and there's no fixed rental period. So it's none of this back tomorrow by 6 p.m. It's a joke. Because lives don't work like that. We have different lives than we did 30 years ago. You know, a lot more chaotic. Some people have kids, some people don't. But still, work isn't necessarily 9 to 5 like it used to be in days gone by. So with different shifts, different lives, people coming from further afield. So you can't have that rigidity. You have to break away from that. So by saying, go for a week, try for a week, roughly. But if you're over, you know, no big deal. And that's it, really. So that's the deal. That's the deal.
And it's very quickly become a regular thing for me and Kath. So once a week, you know, 10 days maybe, we'll pop in, we'll get 3 movies. Sometimes you're very nice to us, and I'll pick something out of a box set that's got that many that you'll give me a two for one. And we end up watching stuff that we just otherwise would not have found, on the algorithm. It is an Aladdin's cave.
Yeah.
What tends to be the sort of mix of customers, age and what have you?
It's changed a lot. I mean, you're going back, say peak years, which was 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
You're looking at families, 40-somethings, 50-somethings. Weekenders, it was a Friday and Saturday business where people would want to rent something ridiculous. They would want to see a bus jumping over a train, as my dad used to say, because that's what they wanted. They wanted escapism and that kind of thing. Today, though, there's a real shift. My key demographic, no offense, is 18 to 35. They're the core customers that come in, 18 to 35, because personally, I think they're, can I swear? I think they're pissed off.
Yeah, you can absolutely swear on our podcast.
I think they're annoyed. I think they're annoyed with our generation, because our generation was the generation that said, we don't need video stores. We don't need them. Streaming's good for us. Yeah. And our generation were responsible for the demise of video stores, because we were the people that stopped going. I'm not talking about us, but I'm talking about our generation. Yeah. Our generation was the people that stopped going. So I think the generation below us and the generation below that are kind of saying, well, we could do with these places because they're serving our needs. Our needs aren't being met by Netflix and Prime and Apple and Paramount. We need this variety and to see stuff that we can't see anywhere else. So it's changed, and they're renting different films. They're coming in to rent very, sort of high-end stuff like Tarkovsky and Goddard and Bergman, but they're also seeing sort of really sort of cheesy horror films as well. So it's a great blend.
Well, I mean, you remember when I brought Joshua in, he gravitated towards your lovely
noir.
collection of noir.
Yeah,
and he's not going to find that anywhere else. And I mean, I don't. He rented noir. I watched it. Some really great movies there.
But you could see with your son though, just by 18, isn't he? By picking something up, by holding it, and by kind of looking at the back, there's more investment, isn't there?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's the one thing I think does my head in about streaming is scrolling through the tablets, and it's just not the same experience as going, oh, what's this? Requiem for a Vampire. Oh, that's a really quite solid, chunky case as well, and you just get a real, visceral feeling for something that you don't get digitally.
And there's more investment. I think when you've chosen to leave the house, you've taken the effort to drive all the way here, bus it all the way here, train it all the way here, walk all the way here. You've hung around for 20 minutes, 30 minutes to pick out some films. You've done something that's like, that took an effort. So if I'm going to make that effort, I'm going to watch these things. Whereby if you're scrolling Netflix, give it 20 minutes. Give it 20 minutes.
Is the weekend still a busier time? Or
it is, yeah. It is, but then the weekdays are pretty strong as well, really, because you've got this cycle that people are in, like you're in, this 7-day cycle. There tends to be a churn that's going on all the time. It's very rare you get people dropping off 3, and then hoofing off. They tend to drop off 3 and say, well,
I'll get
might get time this weekend to watch 3. I'll get 3 just on the off chance I might see him this weekend. Or maybe next week, but so I'll get 3 anyway, just to have in the house, and then that's it.
What's the furthest people come?
I've got a customer at the moment who's driving an hour and 10 minutes from Wigan. I've got a customer who was in at the weekend from Macclesfield. That's just over an hour. I've got a customer that comes in every now and then from Manchester. Normally they try and tie things in, so they might see family, or they might have a business thing nearby. So you will see that, but but yeah, that's the kind of first afield. But they're not alone. It's Ormskirk, Liverpool, Frodsham, Chester, Ellesmere Port, Hoylake, New Brighton, Seacombe,
Yeah.
Wallasey.
I mean, you're literally down the road from me. It's
Yeah.
one junction down.
Mm.
I kind of wish that I lived here, because this is, I've said this on the pod, nerd capital of the Wirral. You've got a video store, a comic book store, a gaming cafe. There's a fantasy bookstore opening, and there's a really good beer shop.
Yeah.
It has basically everything I need is one junction down on the motorway. Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
Should we have a look around?
I was going to say, let's take us on a little tour of the shop. Show us around. Show the 50-foot nerds.
We'll do it briefly, because obviously there's a lot to see. You got the VHS at the back, so there's your 302 VHS, which you kind of stored at the back. I don't let people browse them really, because it is more for just like storage, just to keep these films. But if anyone's working on a project, if anyone's working on a course whereby they need to see the complete work of blah so and so director, then it's there for them there. Full Moon is here, all the Full Moon and Empire stuff, which that's my thing. That's my thing. So it's close to me, so I can hug it. Just every now and then, we just like to embrace.
There's a new edition of that coming out soon, isn't
there? There is, and I believe it's got a commentary on there by some idiot.
Some guy.
Some idiot they pay far too much money to do, and Shadow's own seed people. But we won't go into commentary. Here you've got like Third Window, which is a really niche Japanese label, which are cool. Roland and Franco, French cult director and a Spanish cult director. Right next to World Cinema. World Cinema is organized by country, so we start off alphabetically by Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Bulgaria, Canada, and then right down to Spain, Thailand, Sweden, Vietnam, etc., Turkey. World Cinema is really popular amongst the kids, because they want to explore, they want to see that diversity that they don't get on the English streaming services. And I enter the horror section.
The brand new horror section.
Yeah, this has been open about 15 weeks, 14 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
And it's just, we just need that space, because we get a lot of neurodiverse people here. And the horror section is kind of their thing.
Yeah.
Where it was very restrictive in terms of movement. And it was right next to me, and people were coming to browse horror, and they felt really self-conscious.
Yeah.
And if you're neurodiverse, you don't like that discomfort. So I thought, well, let's take a room. I've got 3 stock rooms. This goes back, 30, 40 feet. So I think, well, let's convert a room. Let's have a horror section. Let's put some seats in here so people can really just chill out.
Yeah.
They can pretend to be alone. They can come in with a boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, dog, cat, horse. And they can just chill, scroll off the letterbox watch list, and then just pick some horror films. And it's just it's a calmer environment that people can really relax in.
I think one of the things I really liked, and I think a lot of it's safe to say that it's very much a community here. On boots on the ground, but also out there on the internet, because you've got your YouTube channel and you do your TikTok and Instagram and what have you. But following the project as it took place each week was genuinely interesting.
I think people like to see that, because they can make suggestions, they feel more part of it.
Yeah.
They feel as though there's a bit of excitement, because this is their place. And I think they feel an investment. And that's what, I'm a socialist, which isn't very cool. But I like the fact that I run this place that everybody has a say. If you or Kathleen comes in for a film and it's not there, I try and get it in.
Yeah, no, on more than
important.
one occasion in the very short time that we've been here, we've come across something that you didn't have, and within a couple of weeks, we've got it. It's been brilliant.
That's what it's about. It's the old adage whereby we're better as a group than we are individually. So if we all work together and create this archive, everyone has a piece of it. Everyone should feel as though they have a stake in this.
Yeah.
Because everyone patronizing it ultimately will equate to success. and have been equating to success.
Yeah.
So yeah, horror section, you got the standard horror A to Z in an L shape going round there, and then we have the cool box set sections, which
That's gorgeous box sets.
I do love these box sets.
So do I, because I keep thinking, oh look, see, I've got the Ring movies on DVD. It's the old Tartan edition, and I need to upgrade to this at some point. And
it's a great upgrade though.
And there's the Jew on the Grudge. I love these movies as well. I do like a bit of J horror, and I need to upgrade to this as well. It's like, oh my god. But then you look around and it's like Hammer. You forget about things like Hammer. Oh, that Phantasm. Long term 50-foot nerds listeners will remember we did a video about Phantasm many years ago. So Don Coscarelli's Phantasm. No, understandable. Gosh, I mean, yeah, Chucky's up there. Yeah.
That's it. So it's just, and again, it's that horror diversity really. You got the Italian films from 88, you got the 88 slasher films, you got, as Paul says, Hammer at the bottom, you got the shameless Italian films across the top, Trauma at the very top shelf there. So it's just, I think people feel comfortable with things sectioned. So, I mean, it is a mockery, the amount of sections there are here. There are probably too many, to be honest. But Severin across the top. It just makes sense, really. I think people shop or rent more by labels at times. So,
I'm certainly the sort of person who, if I was collecting different boutique labels, then that's how I would shelve them, because I remember back in the day when I used to have a lot of books on the shelf. I'd always put those orange spine penguins all in a block together. It is, isn't it?
One of the things at the moment is obviously that the boutique labels, like Arrow, 88, Eureka, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of the time you find the smaller boutique labels, the ones that maybe release 1 or 2 films a month, and they don't tend to get much attention. But they're getting, as time goes by, a really loyal following. So here, I've kind of split everything up into the really niche boutique labels, like the Go Say Video, like Cinematograph, like TerraVision, Mondo Macabre, Masca Video, Code Red, Cauldron, Saturn's Core. Saturn's Core at the moment is my go-to label. People are renting the sweet Jesus out of that because it's really low budget stuff. A lot of it's shot on video, and it's stuff that you would not be able to see in any capacity anywhere in this country. So, it's kind of cool. Below that, we have the director's section, which is kind of 50 of the most iconic filmmakers of all time, because people like to rent by filmmaker. A lot of kids as well. They like to, when David Lynch died, kids were in like, well, who is this guy, David Lynch? Let's go through his films. Blue Velvet, Elephant Man, Eraserhead, Inland Empire, Lost Highway, and they could go through it like that. You can't type in David Lynch's name on Netflix and his career will not come up. Maybe one film might come up. Maybe Blue Velvet might come up.
Yeah.
But, that's one of the most frustrating things about streaming. And if you want to have a season at home, if you want to self-curate something, you can't do it, which is nuts. Opposite, we have the new release wall, which is kind of still, to some degree, the core. As you can see by number 1 loan tags here, it's still, the place that most people go to in terms of if they just want a quick fix of something. Obviously, this week we had Megan 2.0 out. Last week it was 28 Years Later. The week before that was Karate Kid Legends. Week before that was Ballerina. So we're kind of going in weeks here. And then just to your right is the Warner Archive section, which is all Warner titles of yesteryear.
Yeah, it's your fault that we now own a copy of Ice Pirates in our house.
Yeah. I apologize for that. And above our heads, we just have the kind of older stock, really, that just needs to be stored.
Yeah.
The stuff that doesn't rent very often, but then people will come up and say, have you got a copy of, I don't know, Sex Lives of the Potato Men? And then we can go, yes, we do.
I want to point out to the viewers and listeners a section that I know is very dear to your heart. It's the Sci-Fi Originals and Asylum section, the Mockbusters. I mean, you say that, and some people are just kind of, well, why? But you really love them, don't you?
I'm passionate about them because it's like a tradition. And I always watch a sci-fi channel movie or an asylum movie after I record a commentary, because it's just like, you're kind of burnt out. You just want something to just, you want a chewing gum for the eyes kind of movie, and they are them. I just love those films because they're just, forget about life, forget about, just switch something on and just enjoy it, and that's what they are. This side we have the indie films. So these are films made outside the studio system. One of my favorite sayings is you can run your finger along any of these shelves, pick anything out, and it will be awesome. Like Dead Man's Curve with Matthew Lillard. But yeah, I love indie films because I love any film made outside the suits that interfere.
That was almost on my phone.
Someone chose that on the first episode.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It's a great film. It's a great film.
Another thing I love about going through, because a lot of these are older DVDs, you're seeing a lot of labels that aren't there anymore.
Absolutely.
So like Tartan,
Momentum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of these labels have gone
because
there's no market. There's no soda. There's no home entertainment business for DVD and these indie films anymore. Top shelf we have martial arts, going right the way around.
There's some great stuff
up to there, where we have a Jackie Chan section and then a Scott Adkins section. The back side to that is documentary section.
Some interesting stuff up there, and I found that you've got Martin Cousins, the story of film, and Odyssey. I remember when the BBC aired that, and I never got to see all of it. So that's on my list to go back to at some point.
So martial arts on that top shelf. Then we have two more boutique labels. We have Indicator there, and we have Criterion there, and those stretch right the way down to here. And then below those, we have the classic actors section. So if people want to come in and look at all the classic stars of the golden era of Hollywood, be it Jack Lemmon, be it Walter Matthau, be it Robert Mitchum, Jimmy Cagney, James Stewart, here's where you go. And then just to finish everything off on this backside here, we have Eureka, Masters of Cinema, and then we have three sides of Vinegar Syndrome. And that's about it, to be honest.
And it's all kind of, it's a very compact space, but you've not wasted any space, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we just, like I say, when we opened 30 years ago, we had this wall, the new release wall, and then we had one little fixture in the center, and that was it. But then as you kind of accumulate, you we'll just add this bit here, and then we'll just add, it's like living in a house and just adding an extra story, or an extra room or an extra basement every now and then. You just kind of sit down and have your tea, and you think, a little thing there just to store those. And there's new spaces opening up all the time, really, that you kind of think, well, how about this little thing here? So yeah, there's always ways and means.
It's ever evolving.
Yeah, I mean, there's two of us left in the country which specialize in movie rental, which is here, and Bristol, 20th Century Flicks. They have 20,000 films, so it's just
nearly there.
Yeah. So by next October, I'll have reached 20,000. So it will be the most well-stocked movie rental store in the country. Not that there's much competition, but still, so it'll be a nice accolade to have. But still, we'll probably just add a few more bits and bobs anywhere we can. But as it stands, I think it's as good as I've had it right now. But we'll see. There's always time. There's always someone to come along and say, like someone came along this year and they said, you know what, Dave, you could really do with a Czechoslovakian new wave section. And to be honest, I went home, thought about it, and I said, yeah, I'm going to do that. So it's just behind Paul's left-hand shoulder. So now I have a section for Czechoslovakian new wave cinema and Hungarian and Slovak cinema from the 1960s. And it's really popular because, hey, we all, now that's the funny thing. I always say to people, the guideline is a week for a film. And I always say to them, you may think the film you're renting is so niche and so unusual that no one in their right mind would want to rent it. But It's often the exact opposite. It's like, I'll give you a story from last Sunday. This is a true story.
Yeah.
And you think you were here at the time.
Yeah.
A gentleman came in, young guy came in, 21, 22. And he wanted a really niche documentary called Grey Gardens. This is from 1973. 75. It's 50 years old this year. Who's heard of Grey Gardens? So it's... Anyway, so I said, James, yes, I have that for you. It's on DVD. It's on that set. It's not there. There's a gap. And there's 4 or 5 people in the store. Someone had picked it up 3 minutes earlier before this guy even came in and had it in their hand to rent. And so you think, what are the odds in a store of 19,000 movies that 2 people are going to want the same niche documentary from 1975? And it just goes to show you that, you may think your taste is a little bit, offbeat, but it's surprising. People do like the weird and wonderful stuff. And I may say to you, oh, check New Wave section. Oh, crazy. But it's crazy. Everyone likes something different. That's the beauty of the diversity of this place.
If I had done my first foray into here today and said to you, Dave, I don't know where to start. I'm a complete blank slate. Pick me something that I wouldn't otherwise see on the streaming services, and is a bit off the wall. What would you have pulled off the shelf for me?
I don't know, because it depends on the person. Really. Someone did come in about a month ago and say that to me.
Really?
They said, I've got 2 films, just give me a third. But it's going to be something I would never have heard of and I can't access.
Yeah.
So I gave him The Infernal Rapist, which is a film from Mexico that he really liked in the end. That could have gone either way, to be honest. Didn't play it with his girlfriend, thankfully. But yeah, so it depends on the person. But ideally, I do say to people, if you've got a letterbox list, bring it in so you can kind of check stuff off. Have something in mind when you come in, so I can put you in a certain direction.
Sure.
But main thing is just to come in, relax, just browse, just be inspired. It's anti-algorithm. Remember, you can go wherever you want. You can go to world cinema, you can go to westerns in a heartbeat.
Mike, did you have anything you wanted to ask?
Yeah, just when are you getting the Last Amityville movie in? Because I hear there's this really handsome, awesome actor in that movie.
I heard there's one right on the floor there, so I might whip it before he goes.
Dave, it's always an utter joy to come in here.
Well, it's always good to see you.
Hang out with you. Tell the 50-foot nerds listeners and watchers where they can find out more about Snips on the socials.
You go to Instagram, Snips Movies. You go to Facebook, Snips Movies. You can go to Blue Sky, Snips Movies. You can go to TikTok, Snips Movies. And you can go to YouTube, where there is a weekly YouTube channel in which I sit there and hold a piece of plastic for an hour every week.
And occasionally sip your coffee.
And occasionally sip coffee. And there's 5 films, which is a great little series. It's episode 1 is on in an hour's time. So yeah.
For season 2, yeah.
So yeah, the 5 socials, and I'm always there because that's what you got to kind of do. When you're in a video store, no one really looks for you. So you need to kind of force yourself on people and say,
that's how I found you. So there we go. Snips Movies. It's so hard to explain quite how good it feels to be in a real place, touching real product and renting real films. You just have to come and experience it for yourself. So if you are, in a reasonable distance from Merseyside, come to Snips Movies and rent some movies from Dave, because it's awesome. And in the end, any business that goes in his direction is what then makes a place like this possible. In the meantime, I have been Paul Griggs. Mike has been on the camera. This is Attack of the 50-Foot Nerds, and we'll see you again. Geek out.